Hey guys, back with another video. This one is actually a request video. Someone requested I do a review on Dragon's Dogma, and I thought that was a great idea because Dragon's Dogma is a game that I actually really like. It made my Game of the Year list for 2012, and I talked about it very briefly in that video, but I thought, I'd do a video talking about that game in more detail. I don't own the game anymore, unfortunately. I had it for the Xbox 360, and I sold that and all the games. So I don't have the game to show you guys, but I'll probably just put a picture up in the corner there. And sorry, no gameplay either. I don't know how this might be just a short video. We'll see how much I can remember about this game. I remember quite a bit about it in terms of gameplay. It's the story that I don't remember, which I'll start with that. The story, it's complete nonsense in this game. I couldn't, it was very hard to follow. The ending I remembered being very cool. It was really unique and actually surprised me. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma is actually probably one of the Capcom's best games in a long time. Like, this game really surprised me. Like, Dragon's Dogma, when this game came out, I was pretty shocked with how good it was. It's a very strange game though, because it's kind of like Capcom's take on like a Western RPG similar to Skyrim. Yet, like, they tried to go for this Western feel, yet it comes across as Japanese. It's like this weird mix of like Western and Japanese stylings in like this open world RPG, and I thought it was really unique. And there's a lot of interesting ideas here. The game itself is definitely flawed. There are some flaws. It's the kind of game that a sequel, I think, if a sequel came out and fixed all the things I didn't like about it, it could be pretty amazing. I know there's like an expansion pack like called Dark Arisen that adds a lot of content and I think fixes some things. I haven't played that. This is just going to be a review of like the vanilla Dragon's Dogma, which should be pretty cheap by now. You could probably get this game for pretty cheap, and for the price this game goes for, even the Dark Arisen version, it's probably like 20 to 30 bucks. It's very much worth it, especially the amount of content you get here. This is a pretty lengthy game. Visually, it's nothing too stunning. It doesn't look quite as good as Skyrim. Like, the animations I really like in this game. It's got excellent animations. It kind of reminds me of Monster Hunter, like the animations in this game, which of course that's another Capcom game. But visually, like, the environments are nice. The environments are probably one of the best parts. Like, everything looks fine. It's just not a mind-blowing game as far as visuals are concerned. The environments themselves, like, it takes place in like a generic kind of high fantasy setting, which is one of my complaints with the game. It's your typical caves and hills and trees and mountains and stuff. Like, there's not really any surprises there, and I found that the setting kind of got boring sometimes. Like, the cities were kind of bland, I thought. They're very big. The game is very epic in scope. Like, it really feels like this huge place, but a lot of it's quite empty. But there are some cool areas as well. The sound design I thought was pretty good. The music was decent. Nothing mind blowing. The gameplay is where there's a lot of cool stuff happening, but there's some flaws with the game. It plays like your typical like Western open world RPG, where almost immediately off the bat you have the entire world open to you, and you choose your class in the beginning. I think there's like a few classes. Like, I went with a ranger, which I really like. Later in the game you can kind of have like a hybrid class, where you can combine different classes. It's pretty fun playing as all the classes. There's pretty big differences between them. Unlike Skyrim, which is like first-person combat, Dragon's Dogma is third-person, and it reminds me of Monster Hunter a lot. A lot of the boss creatures are like Monster Hunter. You can like climb on their backs and slash them and take them down. And it's like the combat is one of the best parts in this game. Like, it's fantastic. Like, it feels really satisfying. It's really fun. The game starts out very difficult. Like, it reminds me of Dark Souls in a way where it doesn't explain things that well, and in the beginning of the game, the enemies will kick your ass. Like, you can find yourself going to areas that are like way, like I'm talking like way like over leveled for you. Like you can find yourself in areas where the enemies are way above your level and they'll just demolish you. So it can be confusing at first. I had a hard time getting into it at first, but once you kind of start doing the main quest and getting a bit further in, it's not so bad. There's a ton of side quests in this game. But one of my another complaints I have is like the side quests themselves. They're very vague. It's kind of hard to know what exactly you're supposed to be doing with a lot of the side quests, but it plays out like a Skyrim game where you've got this big open world and you can find a bunch of quests, but you've also got your main quest. A lot of running back and forth from town to town, killing monsters, leveling up. I love the leveling up in this game. There's tons of loot to find. A lot of customization options. Like the RPG elements are really deep in this game. Like it doesn't feel dumbed down in any way like Oblivion did for me. Like I thought Oblivion was like a really dumbed down compared to like Morrowind before it, where this is a pretty hardcore open world action RPG, and it's got some difficulty to it. It gets easier as you go, and towards the end it got to the point where it was almost too easy. So the difficulty is kind of weird. It's kind of on it's like I don't know. It's kind of strange. One thing I don't like is how much running there is in this game. Like the fast travel system is really weird, where you have to like drop like this teleportation device, and then you use like a stone where you can teleport to the different devices that you've laid all over the world map. And you can't lay down too many of them. Like you can't just fast travel to every place or wherever you want on the map. So there's a lot of running, a lot of running from place to place. I know that was like a major complaint with a lot of people, and it did get a bit tiring at times, I gotta say. But it's nothing. There's nothing groundbreaking in terms of the actual gameplay. It's just that the combat is like the best I've seen in an open world RPG. But what is interesting with this game are the like online elements, where you have your main character, and then in the beginning of the game, you create a side character that's called a pawn, and he's like your secondary character, and you create him. You choose what he looks like, his own class, and they'll follow you. And you have a 4-person party in this game. So you create that pawn, and you can upload it to like a server where other people playing can use your pawn, and it can be like whatever level that your pawn is at. And then, likewise, you can use like your other 2 characters, like you travel in a 4-person party. You can choose pawns from other people's worlds. So it's got like kind of like a Dark Souls-esque online element, which I thought was really cool. It's also kind of vague, like the side quests. It's kind of hard to understand at first, but once you get used to how it works, it's actually really cool. I really liked messing around with that stuff and constantly upgrading my pawn and making them super powerful. Like this game I was obsessed with for quite a while. Like I got all the achievements except for like one of them. Like I played this game a lot. I'm pretty sure there's like a New Game Plus mode as well. There's tons of content. Like the world is massive, so many side quests, so many things to do. And that pawn system is just really unique. Another thing I'm not too big on is like the party AI. Like you can set like tactics, but if you like set one of your AI partners or pawns to like heal you, sometimes they won't heal you when you need to be healed. Like I found a lot of times I died or they die in really stupid ways. The AI is not the greatest, and they talk a lot. Like they're constantly yelling out their commands. I think you can like turn that stuff off. I don't remember quite well if you could. You might be able to do that, but I remember that grating on me quite a bit. So overall, Dragon's Dogma does have some flaws. It's it's definitely a flawed game, but I think with a sequel they could fix a lot of the complaints and maybe kind of up the budget. It can feel a bit low budget at times. But I don't know. It's a great RPG experience with an amazing exploration. As someone that really enjoys exploration in RPGs, this game, it gave that to me in spades. So yeah, if you haven't played Dragon's Dogma, I definitely recommend it. It's kind of similar in Dark Souls in a way where you have to kind of stick with it and don't give up too early. But once you kind of get into the groove of things and how the game works, you might be surprised to find yourself addicted to it. Like I definitely was quite obsessed with this game for a while. I think it's a pretty lengthy game on the first playthrough too. At least 50 hours or so it took me to beat it. So, but that's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.